أنا قاعد أحكي عن المواد ليش كل محاضرة
Assalamu alaikum. Sabah al-Khair. And today I'm going to continue today's part of biochemistry. So, as you know, the events on D6 they finished. D5, you looked for that pantotenic acid, you find some drugstore, they sell as a pantotenic acid, or B5. The next vitamin is B6. Another name, mainly you might hear in some chemistry books, it says pyridoxal. It's another name, like sometimes you might have two names, Ahmad or Muhammad, both of them works. Yeah, some of them are for scientists, they actually try to name based on the structure. Some others are general names for everyone, actually they know that. And so this vitamin is involved in, I don't know what happens to this PowerPoint here, but in your PDF it might be correct. They are in one line. And so this is a vitamin B6 also is involved in metabolism. In metabolism pathways, all of these vitamins are involved. B6 is another one, and it is participating in more than 100 enzymatic reactions. You are going to see what are the enzymes, and all the reactions in body are catalyzed by enzymes. And for that enzyme, we need these vitamins. I'm going to explain this role of this. They are actually importance in body. Another one is biotin or B7. Also, this is a specific enzyme for carboxylation. Sometimes we want to add carboxyl to some groups, and this enzyme is essential. So, how about the deficiencies? So, prolonged use of antibiotics cause this deficiency. So, be careful about that. What are the, these are water-soluble vitamins, if you remember them. The big groups are vitamins, they are soluble. Some athletes, you might have heard, they do some workouts and they get what? Eggs, proteins. But uncooked albumin can bind to the iodine, these vitamins. So, those actually consume albumin without cooking that. What happens? they will face with deficiency of this because that albumin binds to this vitamin and doesn't lead to absorb. This one is important, very important, because it is essential for kids during growing and for pregnant women. Yes, they need to take supplement of this vitamin B9 or folic acid. In many actually places you can find this folic acid. And its role is in anemia. What was the anemia? Do you remember that? Exactly. Exactly. That's the blood. The other colors. A is negative. Or actually not having this blood. Anemia is a shortage of the blood. So folate is important in synthesis of this hemoglobin. I'm going to explain this hemoglobin. Inside the red blood cells, our blood cells, we have a hemoglobin to transfer oxygen. This folate is essential for synthesizing that. Its deficiency in pregnant women cause what? Some neuronal deficiency or neuronal actually dysfunctions. So that is important for some. So another vitamin, the next vitamin is vitamin B12. It is saying to be 9 or folate. It is also important in blood making. And deficiency of this is kind of severe. If people face with the deficiency of B12, what happens? They can synthesize red blood cells, and also they face with some pains on the neuronal systems. Why? That's the role. It has role in anemia and also neuropsychiatric processes. So vitamin B12 is another important vitamin. And the last on water solubles. What is that? Vitamin C. Vitamin C, we know the vitamin C is a most important enzyme in collagen synthesizing. C hydroxylase coenzyme. I will explain this term. What is the coenzyme? If you look at the board, what is that? Coenzyme is a part of enzyme for working. Enzyme without this part, vitamin C doesn't work properly.
I don't understand the part of coenzyme.
What?
I don't understand the part of coenzyme.
I will explain that. Just remember that name because in the enzyme I will explain that. That is an enzyme plus co. Co part is mainly vitamins. Because of that, vitamins are essential. We call them coenzyme part, but I will explain that term in enzyme part. So, the lipid soluble, those are what vitamins? Water solubles. We just, store part of the folate for 9 months or 6 months, and for the B12 around the 6 months in the liver. But the rest, we don't store them because they are water soluble and cells don't store them. How about the lipid solubles? You know 4 of them. First one is vitamin A. Exactly. We have different types of the vitamin A. You might hear retinol, retinoic acids. All of these are derivatives of vitamin A. Vitamin A, so you might hear the general comments. about the consuming vitamin A. In which process vitamin A is involved? Yes, vision. So, for seeing many things, specifically at night, vitamin A is essential. So because of that, mostly you might receive some recommendation. It says, take vitamin A. What is the best resource for vitamin A? Carrot, exactly. One of the best. So, there are some toxicity related to lipid soluble vitamins. You should be careful about taking them. So we have a toxicity on them. So in carrots, it's not specifically vitamin A. It's a part of vitamin A. It is called beta-carotene. It's a precursor of vitamin A. It converts it to vitamin A. And see the roles involved in vision, growth, reproduction, immune system, maintenance of epithelial tissues. All of these roles are for vitamin A. And about the deficiency, what happens? Blindness. In deficiency of vitamin A, we face with this blindness. See? Main part of the deficiency is related to it. However, in some cases, low vitamin A causes less immune system. So it is important to get enough vitamin A. How about the toxicity? Since these vitamins are fat soluble, they are stored easily in the body. So be careful about taking that. If you look at the multivitamins, have you tried to check what kind of vitamins they have? Do you have multivitamins at home?
Yes.
So, what kind of vitamins you can find there? Have you tried that, checked that? Mainly, you will find B complex ones. Why? On those multivitamins, we don't have vitamin A.
Because absorption of the B complex is easier than because it's in the liquid.
Yeah, it is related to toxicity of lipids because many people, they don't care about getting, the optimum level of that, and it happens sometimes they get more of that. It happens for vitamin D. Many people, they think if they get more vitamin D, it is good for them, but it's not like that. Some people, they face with the toxicity of that vitamins because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. And same things happens for vitamin A. What are the resources? There are many resources for vitamin A. However, in the drugstore, if you go, you can find vitamin A as a tablet. But I'm not recommending that. Why? Because that is toxic. How about the consuming carrots? Carrots are good. Why? Because carrots has a precursor of vitamin A. It's not a vitamin A. It is converted to vitamin A, and it's not toxic. So, for taking pill, because they are pure vitamin A, they are toxic. But for you can get that if you face with the deficiency. But if you look at the sources, in many resources you can find that. And you don't need to get that pure vitamin. Yeah. In some parts of the world, they don't get enough vitamin A, and WHO produced new type of the rice. What is this rice? It has vitamin A on gene of this rice. These are kind of yellow, carrot-like, colored rices. They have vitamin A. The other one, vitamin D, another fat-soluble vitamin. You can find this in many actual resources. It is essential for keeping calcium in body and mineralizing our bones. So every day we need enough level of vitamin D. However, outside in the market you see there are a lot of vitamin D. But the good point for the vitamin D, what is that? We can synthesize that. How?
From the sun.
Sun, exactly. It happens, it starts from the cholesterol in our skins. When UV light actually targets the skin, cholesterol starts doing some process and then converted to vitamin D. So it's a good habit. Sometimes give a chance to yourself, be in front of the sun to get enough of vitamin D. However, in the market you can find some vitamin D. Like this, sun actually when the skin starts the process, you are not supposed to know this process, but just you can remember that this vitamin is synthesized from sun. However, we can get from the other resources like these resources, meat or fruits. Some of them they have, or some meats they have vitamin D.
How many of the unit number for vitamin D accumulates?
How many?
Of unit number.
Oh, yeah.
Unit of, like 5,000, 10,000.
Yeah, 5,000 is good, but outside there are mega doses. They are called, because when you actually consume them, not necessarily all of them are absorbed. The level of the absorption, it depends on your intestine bacteria, your absorption, and your need. Because when you don't need much of that, mostly your intestine doesn't absorb them. However, for the lipids, it's not working like that. You can absorb many of that, but 5,000 is good. Yeah. Every day one 5,000 is enough. If you be in front of the sun, mainly you don't need that. For actually women after over 50, that is good. They actually take that one, specifically in countries, Muslim countries like us, because we have a kind of hijab or something like that, and we don't get enough sun, mainly. And so it is good and healthy for them, specifically after 45 or 50, they get daily one of these 5,000 vitamin D. However, you can replace that with what? Enough calcium. What resources? Yogurts. Must. What do you call it? For yogurt.
Yogurt lemon.
Lemon?
Rowan.
Rowan? Rowan. Yeah, they have enough, because vitamin D is essential for immune process, specifically in bone mineralization and keeping calcium level, in healthy situation. So, its deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, caused what? Stomalacia. This is stomalacia. It's here, but it should be here. Yeah. It's a kind of soft bones, and if it happens during the growing kids, happens like this. Their actually bones gonna be like this. That's not so tight and fit. They're gonna be like this. Also, we have toxicity for these ones. If you look at those lipid solubles, we have toxicity for many of them. And another important vitamin is vitamin E. Another type that is involved in lipid-soluble antioxidants. That's the antioxidant. Most of the time you might receive recommendation, it is better to get vitamin E, and in many resources we have that one. You can find in vegetables, liver and eggs, there are resources of this. And about the toxicity. Vitamin E is the least toxic when you compare the toxicity, vitamin A has the most toxicity. And then vitamin D has the most toxicity. And at the end, we have least toxicity of this vitamin E. It's not very toxic if you get more of that when you compare with the others. And the last one, vitamin K. Vitamin K, vitamin K you can find in many of these vegetables. That's good. And the other thing that is important about the vitamin K, without these resources, you can synthesize that. Our bacteria in intestine synthesize main part of the vitamin K. So, yeah, vitamin K sources you can find in many of these vegetables. And bacteria. Bacteria can synthesize vitamin K. Yeah, we have bacteria in our guts. Yeah, as many as our cells. 10 billion bacteria. They are living in our intestine, large intestine. And they synthesize vitamin K, mainly. If you look at this, there is also synthesis of vitamin D in gut. And vitamin K toxicity. If you consume more vitamin K, what happens? Yeah, it has toxicity. Mainly it causes hemolytic anemia and jaundice. You will study about that. That's a kind of yellow skin. You see some yellow on your white part of eyes. This is jaundice. So that's it. For the vitamins, that's it. I'm going to delete part of these ones, and I will give you a short form of the vitamins. Yeah, I will send to Kara, and he will share with you. So, but this is good for you, because you can have the main resources. When you need a question, you can go back there. However, this time you don't need anyone. You can find everything in the Google or internet. So that's it for this part. Let's go for the second part. Yeah. Who likes animations? Then we go to the protein part. Protein and amino acids. This is protein and amino acids. Great university. Who does some workouts? Do some workout. Do you like it? Is there any facility in the university for doing workouts, bodybuilding or lifting? Do you have?
In this university?
Yeah.
No.
Even in dormitory? You don't. So yeah. This part is for the proteins and amino acids. So far, we studied carbohydrates. You know some of these carbohydrates. You know also some fats or lipids, names of them, and their structure, general structure, and then vitamins. Now, we are going to start with what? Amino acids and proteins, another macromolecules. We have 3 types main macromolecules in biochemistry that they are related to energy and structure. And also, 4th one is nucleic acids in DNA and RNA structure. But I'm not going to talk about those parts because that's totally different. It's a kind of biology. Yeah. But in this part, give me some examples of proteins that you know and their role. Chicken is a source of the protein, but a specific protein, name of the protein. Yeah, chicken is full of protein. And also, it depends on the parts. Give me some examples of protein that you know. Name of them. No, not, yeah, I don't mean source of the, that, just specific names for them. Because in this session, you are going to get familiar with the protein's structure and some of those important as examples to see the structure of them. Keratin, yeah, exactly. Collagen, they are specific protein names. And their roles, how about their roles? What kind of roles they have? What they do? Collagen in structure, in bone, is a structural protein. And how about the hemoglobin? Have you heard about the hemoglobin?
Yes.
What's that?
Inside the blood and carry oxygen.
Yeah, carries oxygen. So that's the soft things carries the oxygen. How about this keratin? You have here. In your head, that's a keratin. Also, you have, yeah, muscle. Even in your, yeah, skin. Collagen. Their roles are different. Even, what's this? It can be like, as hard as something you can kill other things. All of these things are proteins. Even this part of the animals are protein, but still dense and specific proteins. See some magics on proteins. And what about this? What is this? An insect that emits light. This light comes from a protein. It does some reaction, and that reaction emits some light at night. What is this? What is it? Can you use this idea here outside in some place? Insects, they have protein, it emits light. Do you like to have some tree, it emits light at night? Yeah, transfer this protein to plant. It's a kind of engineer. You get that protein, genes of that protein, and transfer into that some specific trees. They emit lights. Yeah. You can find about these studies in 2 universities. This is a Dutch plan, a Dutch designer trying to actually produce new plants that they emit lights. That's the idea. Just I'm trying to give you some ideas. When you actually, it's not important part. These parts are just kind of introduction to proteins. So, what are the outlines you will see? Getting familiar with the level of the protein structure, the primary structure, secondary structure, and also some higher structures of that, and see some examples of them. How about the history of the amino acids? What are these compounds? They are units of proteins. When we have amino acids together, it is called protein. Like in the carbohydrate. So mono one we call one example, glucose. the dimer of that was maltose, 2 of glucose. For the polymer of that, we called it glycogen, starch, or cellulase. All of them are units of the glucose. For the amino acids, it's the same. We have amino acids, but poly of them is called protein, different proteins. But amino acids, if you look at the history of that, you can find some information. This information isn't important, but you can know about the history of something. When we realize there are some amino acids, and some of these names comes from the historical finding. For example, we have one amino acid that is called glycine. Do you know what is the name? Name comes from the glycemic taste of that. When first time they tasted that, it was so sweet, and they called it glycine. And for this others, yes. The asparagus, this is the asparagus. The first amino acid extracted from this is called asparagine. Asparagine. Yeah. This asparagine name is the amino acids first time extracted from this asparagus. Some of them they have a history like that. I'm not talking on history more, but the terms of the amino acids coined around this 1898, 140 years ago. The first time that we used amino acids, it was 150 or 40 years ago. So this is the structure of the amino acids. How many of capacity every carbon has? 4 carbons. Again, carbon. In one side we have an amine part, this one. In another side we have what? Carboxyl or acid. We call it amino, and these parts are constant in 20 amino acids that we have. In body, we have 20 amino acids. You are not going to supposed to memorize or learn the structure of that 20 amino acids. You are just going to hear the names. But 20 amino acids, they are same on this part, but on this part. This part could be different. For example, in some cases, instead of this, R is a general thing. You say this is a R. R could be many things, like just hydrogen. What do you call it? Glycine. When it has something like this, we call it alanine, and so on. Many of these. How many of amino acids we have? 20 amino acids. 20 amino acids. So, if you look at those, chocolate bars or many of things, they might say amino acids, write the specific amino acid names. I'm going to just give you some, general information about these amino acids. If the N group is located on left side of this structure, it is called L. But if these amine groups are located in right side, we call it D. Why that is important? If you work on extracting amino acids, if you extract these ones and give these ones to patients or people, it will not be used. See? We just can use this form. Because of that, next time, please write this one. Next time, check some of those, amino acid structure. I forgot to bring one of those, but you will see it has L amino acid instead of D amino acid. If you consume D amino acids, you can't actually use that. It doesn't work. Because in our body, just these structures in left side is incorporated to proteins. How about the sugars? In sugars, D forms of the sugars. Because of that, it says D-glucose. D-fructose is used in body. These are two part of the amino acids. We have two groups of the amino acids. One of them are water soluble and others are lipid soluble. Exactly. I'm just gonna read the name just once. What are the names? See, glycine, changing this one. Also, this is alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine, methionine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, proline. These are part of the amino acids. The other parts that they are water soluble are same to that one. See, again here, this is a more water soluble OH. This is called serine, tyrosine, cysteine, tyrosine, asparagine, glutamine, aspartate, glutamine, lysine, arginine, histidine. The names of the 20 amino acids. We put together these amino acids and we produce a lot of proteins. Limitless proteins. Because we have 20 amino acids, we can have different combination of them. So, just for your information again, you are not going to supposed to memorize these things, but in the books, you might see sometimes they write full name of them. For example, alanine. But since humans are lazy and they want to abbreviate everything, we have a 3-letter abbreviation for this amino acids. In the books, you might see for alanine it is written ALA, or for the arginine it is ARG, and so on. Again, you are not supposed to memorize them, but know that. What is this 3 letters? And also, in some books, you might see just 1 letter of them. Because again, humans are lazy and they don't want to write 3 letters. They want to just mention A is for alanine, or that's conventional. So, some of these biochemists or scientists, they find something from that previous slide to show their what? What is this? What are these? What is it? Jewelry. So, what's specific about these jewelries? There are structures of amino acids, and actually they have a name. For example, this E, Emily. If you look at the amino acids, they are amino acids, and E starts with what? This one. Glutamic structure. This is the glutamic acid structure. This is the methionine structure. Just linear form of that. There are couples in Belgium. They actually produce this kind of jewelries. Specifically, if someone wants actually that, they say, write this name, for example, with amino acids, putting amino acids together and having that jewelry. So they have a sheet like this. You can find the structures of the amino acids here. That's the kind of, when scientists are bored with the science, they try to find something lovely. And this one works. Another thing that is important in amino acids, part of the amino acids are essential, other parts are non-essential. What does it mean? When I call some amino acids are essential, what does it mean? We should eat them, we should get them from the earth resources. How about the non-essentials?
We don't need it.
We don't need them, we can synthesize them from the others, from that one that were essential. So, part of the amino acids are essential. Next time, when you are going to eat something, look at the amino acids. So this is essential, I should get that one. But for the non-essential, we can synthesize them in the body. How? Again, you are not supposed to memorize them. If you want to learn them, just learn them for yourself. But I'm not going to ask you which one is essential, which one is non-essential.
You mean the essential means our body can't make it all.
Yeah, can't make it.
But non-essential, our body can't make this.
Yeah, convert. It's a kind of converting. Yeah, synthesized from the others, from other amino acids, or some carbohydrates. Some of them are synthesized from carbohydrates. If you look at their structure, they have carbon on their structure. Also, they are converted to carbon. Then body needs energy, your muscles have proteins, your proteins catalyzed and converted to glucose. It is called gluconeogenesis, synthesizing neoglucose. Yeah, they can be converted to each other, lipids, carbohydrates, and amino acids, but not for essential ones. For essential ones, we need to get them from out resources. Because of that, most of the time, you are advised to get enough proteins. Without the proteins, specifically essential amino acids, we face with the severe problems. In the market, if you look at the market, you can go to the drugstore and ask for some amino acids, like packages like this, essential amino acids powder. They have it, you can actually dissolve in water and drink it. When you look at the structure, you might see 100 milliliters of these things. They have these amino acids. And with me, I'm just looking for a specific term. One of the place we have. I have to remove that one. But look at this one. What it says. What's the name for this? Arginine. What kind of arginine? L-arginine. This is important. If you see D, it doesn't work. So you might say, they are not going to sell me D4. But if you work in a factory and extract this from the resources, you should extract just L4. You should show that is L. And also for this one, what is this? Glutamine, but specifically L-glutamine. And also, again, essential amino acid tablets. This is a specific brand name. This is the injection forms of the amino acids. You can find in the market. One point, cooking point. From these amino acids, one of them tastes so good. This one. This glutamic acid. In some restaurants, they add some pure form of the glutamic acid to that. It tastes so delicious. Look for monoglutamic acid. Glutamic acid or glutamic monosodium. Can you look for that? Search for it. Glutamate, monoglutamate in cooking. If your cooking is not good, you can get some of this monoglutamate. And next time, have you ever tried some of those frozen hamburger? Have you read the ingredients? If you look at the ingredients, you will find one thing like this. But in that form, it has sodium. It is called monoglutamate sodium. Did you find something? What it says?
Just the structure.
No, just look for cooking, not the structure of that. Please put the name, write the name cooking. So what it says?
Use the cookie both naturally and has a flavor
Flavor?
in the form of monosodium glutamate.
Yeah.
Flavor and skin
Yeah. If I hadn't a frozen burger here, but next time when you try it, not just in hamburger, specifically in frozen ones, because they don't have great flavor or taste, they add this one. However, recently, because that is so delicious, the meat delicious, meat taste comes from this glutamic acid. Also in tomato. So yeah, that's it.
Has a side effect if we use.
Yeah, it has a lot of side effects. Recently, they say don't use it as a pure form. However, it is just amino acids. You might see that it's a monosodium because this structure has a sodium with themselves. Sodium isn't the important part, but the main part is that glutamic acid or monoglutamate sodium. And yeah, it's not healthy mainly. It is recommended don't consume that a lot. So because of that, you be careful. Next time when you get something from the store, look at the monoglutamate sodium. Mainly they add these things to the ingredients to make it so delicious.
Just in the meat or from the.
No, very resources they have this glutamic acid, but mainly this taste is yummy. Japanese terms for that umami. They call it umami, so delicious. We like that. And endomi? Yeah. So yeah, you can be great cook in your country with having this in your cabinet and adding some glutamate. Next time try it. You can find it. There are a lot in the market. Yeah, as such a big part you can get up and add some of this to your food. So now we know amino acids. What are the amino acids? What is it? We can have 5 minutes here, but I will give you enough rest. But after 40 minutes or 15 minutes, it is better you have 5 minutes rest. So, you are in 3rd year or 2nd year? 3rd year. So that's good.
Today is the last technical.
Yeah. This is the last.
So, at the end, would you make about the title of the main concept?
Yeah. I'll send you a PDF. Yeah. I'll send you a PDF that has enough details that you need to sometimes you need to have a big picture for yourself. This slides are big picture. Yeah, you should have that kind of view on, and then focus on the specific parts. I'll send you some template questions, and the previous semesters they had I kind of have that question.
The main concepts, which you explain it, more understandable.
Yeah. How many people do you have in this semester? Every semester. How many English courses? Not just courses? Yeah. Helping you
all my just one course for you.
it's essential credits or just having credits?
So, what is
Credits. So how many of them is English?
1, 3.
So just 2 hours. You have extra courses for English? One.
just to
You seem to be happy.
There are some more from this area is teaching, but the students don't like the way to teach us.
You can come on campus for yourself, practice it. Apart from the university.
actually I there. This is our university.
And I know some guys, they are actually looking at the watch and following that. So, let's go. We learned these amino acids. Some of them are units of this protein, but we put them together and we synthesize peptide or proteins. They are same meaning. But what is the difference between them? Like oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. In peptide form, that's the shorter proteins. Every time that you hear, you might say that's the general part. Peptides. Peptide means proteins, but shorter form of that. And for the larger one, we have general names of the proteins. But what protein? We are gonna look at the details. You will see we have specific proteins. one of the best proteins outside in the market. What is that related to diabetes? Many people actually inject some proteins. Insulin. Insulin is a peptide, a protein. It's synthesized in the labs in bacteria to inject in patients. That is a specific proteins. So, and a lot of other proteins. How they actually synthesize? This is one amino acid, see? This is amino acid structure. But if I write it, I can write like this. Amino acid plus another amino acid. This part is called peptide bound. Peptide bond. It depends on the number of the amino acids. A lot of amino acids, here 5 of them, are linked together, made a peptide. That is a so simple form of structure. Can I have one sheet? Do you have a sheet? Paper? If you have one, I might have here. I saw something. Yeah, I found. Imagine this one has an amino acids on it. Can you say amino acids on it? A. This is amino acids. Here, 5 amino acids. They should have, this is the linear form of that. When body synthesize them, they are not going to be like this. They should fold, correctly fold. It depends on the sequence of that. One fold is like this. What that's called? Helix. This is a secondary structure. Helix alpha, helix up. This is a helix. See? This is one of these ones. This is structure. And these ones you might see like this. In different shape, position. If you look at that, from that side it's like this, from this. If you look at from that side, it looks like this. This is alpha helix. In some cases, this amino acids depends on the sequence and structure. They are like this. These calls are beta strands, beta strand. When you have more than one of these things, this is one beta strand. Sometimes we have 2 of them. It depends on the structure. They are called beta sheet. More than one are called sheet. Beta sheet. This is a secondary structure. But this is the middle structure of something. But we know proteins are not like this. They fold. This is a fold form of that. It's a kind of packaging something. Why these parts? This is a tertiary or 3D, tertiary structure of these proteins. This tertiary structure is very important. Without correct this form, it doesn't form. Because some parts of that, for example, this is a hemoglobin. Let's say this is for hemoglobin. This is myoglobin and this one is hemoglobin. So this is one protein, second tertiary structure. We have it here. some proteins, they have more than one unit. This is one unit, but some proteins, they have more than one unit. They are dimers, two of them, too close together. This is a dimer form. But for the hemoglobin, we have 4 of these polypeptides. 4 of them work together. If you have just one of them, it is myoglobin. This one is myoglobin. But in hemoglobin, we have 4 of them. This folding is important. If they are not folded correctly, they cause some diseases. We will see those diseases. One of them is popular in Middle East. What is that? Sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia. So, I'm not explaining this slide about the first, secondary, and tertiary structure properties. Just for some examples. We have 2 kinds of proteins in the body. Some of them are fibrous, getting like this. Some of them are globular, like this. Fibrous proteins, where are they? Hey, in skin, in bone. You have linear ones. Not exactly like this, they are so small, but they are linear. They are fibrous ones. Some cases we have a globular form, but we are converted to this form. When it happens? In cutting, what happens? We have some proteins. They are, what are they? Fibrinogen. Have you heard about the fibrinogen? It's a protein in clotting system. When something happens in cutting part, our clotting system starts working. What happens? During that injury, part of this fibrinogen, that is the globular, in blood circulation is circulating, it is cutted, for example, part of that cutted, and it opens. It make it linear. For what? Blood clotting. It's a kind of strings there, trap all of those bloods and plaquettes and stop bleeding. So we have a globular proteins, fibrous proteins, specifically sometimes we have a globular, they are converted to fibrous one, like fibrinogen. How about those that they are fibrous? Like keratin in our hair, or collagen. How about the globular form, myoglobin or hemoglobin? They are specific proteins we have in blood. Let's see some diseases related to this one. You can compare them. This will help you. What are the fibrous proteins? What are the globular proteins? An example. You will find examples here. Let's start with the keratin. Where you can find that? Your eye, in skin, in your lungs, in your head, in your brain, everywhere. This keratin is an important protein like collagen. You can find it everywhere. In joints, it's a specific protein. But what is the structure of that? Alpha keratin is an antidiuretic of hair, wood, nails, clouds, quids, horns, hooves, you know the meaning of those things. You can find some of those meanings. Yeah, this is a specific protein. When you look at the structure of that, what kind of amino acids are there? Hydrophobics, not hydrophilic. Imagine they were hydrophilic. Every time that we take a shower, they will dissolve in the water. So they are hydrophobics, not hydrophilics. Amino acids. This is an electron graph of this hair. So there is a biochemistry on making wave on hair. Yeah, these amino acids are cysteine, one of those amino acids, they have a sulfur on their structure. We have double bonds here, disulfide bonds in linear form. If you change the position of these bonds, you can make it wavy, or you can make it straight. This is a straight one. If you have a hair like this, you can convert it to this part. This slide, just as an example, again, you are not supposed to memorize this, but it shows you, we have a keratin. In hair, epidermis in our skin, or simple epithelium in red blood cells. Epithelium of those. All of them, they have keratin, but so in hair, that is so actually solid, but in epidermis, that is a kind of soft, and also in simple epithelium, that is totally different. But what is the difference? If you look at the amino acids contents, you will see the differences. For example, for hair, we have 5.5% of cysteine, one of those amino acids. Just level of the amino acids cause you produce different proteins. 5% of is cysteine, 1% cysteine for the epidermis, and less than 0.5% for this epidermis, epithelium. And also the rest of the amino acids. For example, see, we have proline, 4% here, 1% here, and less than 0.0 here. What about the glycine? Look at, glycine is 4% in this epidermis, but 70% in this epithelium, just 40% here, and so on. Also for the acidic one. Again, you might hear keratin. What is the difference between different parts of the body keratin? All of them are keratin, but keratin in the skin, hair, that is different based on the amino acid contents. How many of amino acids they have, specific amino acids they have. The most abundant protein, this is the collagen. You might hear a lot of things about the collagen outside. They say, make yourself young, a shabab. We are gonna make you with adding collagen in your skin and protecting you from getting older or some wrinkles in your skin. Collagen is the most important protein. In everywhere you can find collagen. In bones, in skins, in lungs, everywhere we have this one. But the structure, we have 13 types. Here we have 12 types, but we have around 13 types of the collagen. If you look at the types, you will see they are in different places of the body. In bones, skins, in cartilage, tendons, in many places you can find this collagen. But what is the units? See, these are the units. Glycine, X, proline. Glycine, X, proline. What is the X? Every amino acid could be there. One of that 20 amino acids, you can put everything that you like here. And so because of these differences on this X, we have different types of amino acids. Collagen. We have more than 12 collagens. So, this is the electron graph of that. This is the structure of that. Between these strands, we have some bridges. Between this, collagen polypeptides, we have some linkage between them to make it, like your skin moves like this. Without that, it doesn't have enough softness or moving easily. Two diseases. You are just going to study these two diseases. Learn that. What are these diseases? We have a specific part in collagen. Collagen is important for keeping our teeth in our mouth in tight form, in our vessels. So without specific vitamins, what vitamins cause some bleeding and losing this taste? Vitamin C. Have you ever watched some movies, some of those actually people, they are in the sea without getting fresh foods, they face with some bleedings, specifically using the teeth. Why? Because vitamin C is essential for the collagen that we have in our tongue around the teeth. That is important. And this vitamin C is essential for what? One reaction in this protein collagen synthesizing is hydroxylation, adding hydroxyl to this part. See, this is a peptide, this is another peptide. See, we have this is a peptide, 1000 amino acids. This is one part of the collagen. We have a lot of this polypeptides, but they are linked together with some bridges. We have bridges between them. These bridges, see this one, is important. Sometimes adding hydroxyl is important. This hydroxylation needs, this is enzyme. Some people, they don't have genetically enzyme. Their disease is called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. They can't synthesize collagen correctly. And in some cases, their enzyme working properly, but they don't have what? Vitamin C. Vitamin C is a coenzyme here, part of enzyme. Do you remember that coenzyme I mentioned that? Vitamins work as a, see, without vitamin C, it seems you don't have this enzyme genetically. So that enzyme needs that vitamins. Vitamins are essential because they are coenzymes. Enzymes need that co-part or cooperation part. So this is important coenzyme. What are the gelatins? You know, do you recommend them?
Yes.
Why?
Because they are easy and delicious.
So they are delicious.
Yes.
And are they healthy? In terms of the carbohydrates, lipids, amino acids. You are going to talk about like this. Next time, when you give some recommendation to someone, you are going to give them more specifically. You are going to say it has proteins. What kind of protein? Essential, non-essential. You are going to say that. Because if it is non-essential, we are going to say that you can synthesize them. You don't actually have to eat that one. What do you think about these gelatins? Can you find some information there? How they are prepared? Do you know how they are actually produced, gelatins? Have you ever watched some kind of movies or short movies about the preparing or producing these gelatins? They boil bones and skin. Yeah, next time try that. How they are synthesized, gelatins. They are proteins obtained by boiling what? Boiling skin, tendons, and ligaments, bones with water. They boil what? Bones, skins, tendons, and they let that water evaporate. The rest is gelatin. So, how about the amino acids? Collagen obtained from the various animal body parts. So, they have amino acids. They are rich in protein. They are rich in amino acids. However, in the market, if you look at the ingredients, you might see some sugars they have added that. Because they try to taste like good, or as they taste so delicious kind of. So gelatin is a kind of source of the proteins, but mainly non-essential amino acid. But that is good. If the sugar is low, that could be great. And juvenilizing. What is this? Collagen. During the, getting older, the level of the collagen and elastin goes down in our skins. And because of that, you see some wrinkles on it. So, some actually cosmetics outside, they recommend you getting some collagen. Have you seen that some of those collagens in the, they say this is a cream, you can actually use that and make you look good. Another protein, that is elastin. This is the last protein for this part. I'm going to explain that. What is the elastin? Again, elastin.
Give us the flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility of the skin. In addition to collagen, we have elastin in our skin, specifically in our lungs. This capacity comes from a lot of elastins that we have in our lung structure, or in our what? Ligaments, and in our vessels. In our veins, they can actually tolerate, or they adjust the blood pressure with that elasticity. It comes from elastin. The name comes from that elasticity. Yeah. It has a specific structure for amino acids, these long amino acids, lysines. They are connected to each other. It is a kind of engineering, specific engineering. It helps to stretch so easy. We have a specific disease for that. What is that disease? When we inhale, it is probably, I get some, bacteria, viruses, or mini, pathogens, they go inside my lungs. But what happens? Are there any defense system there? Yes, there are. That defense system, how it works? It digests elastins. So, the next question, how that system doesn't digest our elastin? There is a specific protein there. It's a kind of cap for that enzyme. It protects us. Some patients, unfortunately, they don't have that protecting system. What happens to them?
They will lose the
Elastin. They can't breathe easily. They actually feel like that. Why? Because during the time, their protecting system kills the bacteria and their system. Because they don't have a protecting system. What is that protecting system? Antitrypsin. See, trypsinase, that our system has a trypsinase. It cuts, is for enzyme. Trypsinase, what does it mean? It cuts trypsin or elastin, specifically for elastin. But what is this, the name? Antitrypsin. It is a kind of protecting. Some patients, they don't have these forms, antitrypsin. What happens? In their lungs, their defense system digests their lungs. And so, after a while, they face with some problems in their breathing system, and they can't breathe easily. So it is called emphysema. Emphysema in alpha-antitrypsin deficiency. In the market, we have many of things. They say we have elastin, collagen in one package. There are some therapies. They say if you put some of these helmets on your head and emit some lights, it induces your fibroblast in your skin, releases more collagen and elastin to help you actually looks younger or fresh in your skin. So you can have your rest time, go to the cafeteria, and yeah.
Only 4 lectures for biochemistry?
No, 8 lectures, 4 lectures. This part, next week, like that, yeah.